Greetings, my dear viewer. You're on the channel The Price of Cheating. The channel is for those who appreciate traditional family values and condemn adultery. So be sure to subscribe to the channel. Let's get started. For over 30 years, Amanda and I have walked a beautiful path together. A time filled with laughter, love, and an extraordinary connection that seemed almost magical. It felt as if we had created an invisible thread that linked our thoughts and desires, allowing us to anticipate each other's needs without uttering a single word. One morning, as I was getting ready for work, I realized I really needed some new underwear. I made a mental note to buy some during my next shopping trip. Little did I know that when I returned home that evening, Amanda had already foreseen my need. She had stopped by the supermarket, ostensibly to buy some bed linens on sale, but for some reason she felt compelled to pick up a fresh pack of underwear as well. It was one of those small surprises that made our bond even stronger. Another time, as I was driving home from work, I found myself inexplicably turning onto our street instead of driving straight. The decision was strange, and I couldn't explain it. As I approached the supermarket, I suddenly craved spaghetti with meat sauce. On a whim, I pulled into the parking lot and quickly gathered all the necessary ingredients. When I walked into the house, Amanda greeted me with a sparkle in her eye and asked, "Would you mind if we didn't have dinner at home tonight? I've been craving spaghetti all day, but we don't have what we need." It was yet another example of our delightful synchronicity. Our journey together began in college, where we met and quickly fell in love. We were both newcomers to the world of romance. Amanda, fulfilling a promise made to her mother on her deathbed, and I, too shy and inexperienced to navigate the complexities of relationships. Yet, despite our naivety, our intimate life blossomed into something deeply fulfilling and beautiful. These moments, both big and small, illustrate the harmony we've cultivated over the years and testify to the extraordinary connection between us. There are countless such stories, each one a thread in the rich tapestry of our life together. Once again, our deep connection laid the foundation for everything we experienced together. I instinctively sensed her desires, just as she could read my needs. A memorable moment occurred when one of her sisters gifted her a cheeky box with the playful title, "A Guide to Intimate Possibilities," at our wedding reception. When Amanda opened it, she burst out laughing as a racy cassette tape tumbled out. During the first month of our marriage, we were captivated by that tape, endlessly replaying it and trying out every adventurous scene we saw. Our curiosity led us to explore more adult films, and we soon became regulars at the local adult bookstore. One day, during a playful exchange of opinions, I jokingly asked her if she ever planned to invite another man into our home for some real-life escapades. A delightful blush spread across her cheeks, and she exclaimed, "Oh my God, no! I'm a married woman. I couldn't be with someone I don't know, and if it were someone I do know, I could never face them again." After 3 decades of life together, I realized she meant every word. Our love life remained passionate. We enjoyed intimate moments several times a week, a stark contrast to many of our married friends who met on average only twice a month. Although we eventually stopped buying films, we continued to draw inspiration from magazines. A particularly unforgettable memory was our trip to Hawaii, where we made love on a charming little balcony outside our room, breathing in the warm breeze and delighting in the joy of being together in such an enchanting place. Our life has always been an adventure, and my 60th birthday was no exception. Amanda organized an incredible surprise party at one of our favorite local spots. When I came home from work that evening, she casually suggested we go out for dinner, and when I asked where, she mischievously smiled and said it was a surprise. As soon as we arrived at the venue, the surprise exploded like a burst of confetti. The energy was electric, and the air was filled with laughter. It was Friday night, and the band was playing tunes that made it impossible not to dance. Being the birthday boy had its perks. Friends flocked to offer me drinks, each stronger than the last. By around 10 o'clock, I started feeling slightly dizzy, and by midnight I had completely passed out. Amanda, on the other hand, was riding the wave of fun, seemingly without a care in the world. Some well-meaning friends, confident they were sober enough, decided to act as drivers. I have only vague memories of being propped up in the car. At some point, I regained consciousness and found Amanda in a surreal scene. She was strutting in high heels and nylon stockings, surrounded by a circle of guys who were more than a little friendly. I thought I heard her protest, but the world went dark again before I could make sense of what was happening. The next morning was entirely different. I woke up with the feeling that a marching band had taken up residence in my head. My mouth was as dry as a desert after a drought, and as I stumbled to the bathroom, I solemnly vowed never to allow myself to get caught up in a wild whirlwind of drinking and late-night outings again. After washing up, I headed to the bedroom where I found Amanda sprawled on the bed, drifting in and out of sleep. The traces of the night were palpable, evidence of passion scattered throughout the room. She had one high heel on, the other seemingly lost during the night's escapades. I looked down at her, thoughts swirling about how the previous evening had irrevocably changed the landscape of our lives. Slowly, I made my way to the kitchen, brewed some coffee, and took my time with the process, gradually returning to the land of the living. A couple of hours later, the sound of running water signaled that Amanda was finally awake. I was sitting on the edge of the bed when she came out of the shower, and upon seeing me, tears began to stream down her face. "I'm so sorry, oh God, I'm so sorry," she sobbed. Without hesitation, I stood up and wrapped her in a warm embrace. Her head rested on my shoulder and she cried, feeling the weight of everything crashing down. I carried her back to the bed, holding her close until her breathing steadied. Eventually, I led her downstairs and made a simple breakfast. It wasn't until midday that she found the courage to recount the events of that night. "You know what happened," she began hesitantly. "Half of our friends were riding in the car with me, while the rest were with you." She went on to describe how Nicholas, Anna, and George were in the front, with Anna in the middle, while Amanda found herself in the back seat between Stephen and Brian. They hadn't even left the parking lot when Anna snuggled up to George, and a spark of chemistry ignited between them in the confined space, with Nicholas at the wheel. Despite having had too much to drink, Amanda was struck by what was happening beside her. Stephen leaned in and said, "Look, even though she's married, she can still have a little fun," she recalled, her cheeks flushing with embarrassment and intrigue. Encouraged by the camaraderie, Amanda allowed Stephen to steal a kiss, and then Brian wanted in on the action too. One kiss led to another, Stephen, then Brian again, and their playful exchanges ignited a spark within her. Before long, the atmosphere was charged with flirtation, and Amanda found herself swept up in a whirlwind of sensations. As the night unfolded, Amanda experienced a whirlwind of sensations, with everything around her blurring in a haze of excitement and mischief. In the midst of it all, Amanda caught a glimpse of Anna's head resting on George's lap, a startling sight that made Nicholas chuckle approvingly, utterly unbothered. Despite her intoxication, Amanda was fully aware of what Anna was doing, and a mischievous grin spread across her face as she realized her bra had been unfastened without her even noticing. Her senses heightened, every touch igniting a fire within her, and soon both men had her writhing with pleasure. "Go ahead," came Anna's voice from the front seat, teasing and encouraging. "I knew you had it in you to let loose like me." Amanda was swept away by a whirlwind of desire, completely unaware of how she had ended up in this moment. Before she could gather her thoughts, another car pulled up, and she was whisked into the house, landing softly on the couch. Nicholas, George, and Anna tumbled out of the car, while Stephen, with a smirk, promised to join them later. Anna's laughter rang out. "Don't take too long. I don't want to handle all this on my own." The walk from the car to the house felt endless to Amanda. Thoughts of the recklessness of her actions raced through her mind. She knew she should feel guilty, but there was a thrill in her rebellion that she couldn't ignore. Deep down, she regretted not being able to resist the inevitable, but she understood that in her current state, resistance would have been futile. Her heart pounded with anticipation of what was to come, and she wanted to run as soon as they crossed the threshold of the house. But as the door swung open, she was surrounded by eager hands that undressed her before she could think of escape. "Come on, darling." The night was just beginning, and Amanda was caught in its intoxicating spell. Without missing a beat, the two men swept us off our feet and led us upstairs, where the night turned into a whirlwind of laughter and excitement, every moment filled with unbridled joy. As Anna recounted that evening, tears sparkled in her eyes, a mix of nostalgia and emotion. I was shocked by her actions and didn't know how to move forward with this woman. With trembling breath, she vowed never to find herself in such a wild situation again. We spent the rest of the weekend in a quiet retreat, tiptoeing around the shadows of that unforgettable Friday night. I could see that Amanda was still grappling with the echoes of what had happened, so I distanced myself, pondering how to deal with her. Monday started off well enough, but when the clock struck 2, a wave of intrusive thoughts hit me. Images of Amanda with other men invaded my mind, and as I stood at the traffic light on my way home, I was overwhelmed by a vision of betrayal. When I finally arrived home, the house was quiet, and I noticed the answering machine light blinking impatiently. Gripped by curiosity, I pressed play. A familiar voice announced, "You have one new message and one old message." The new message turned out to be a routine telemarketer offer, which I quickly deleted. Our answering machine was a marvel of modern technology, equipped with features that often escaped Amanda's attention, like the ability to record messages that might otherwise go unnoticed. Little did I know that what was hidden beneath the surface of the answering machine could change everything. When the phone rang, the answering machine picked up, and its familiar voice played the pre-recorded message. Meanwhile, I picked up the other receiver, ready to immerse myself in the unfolding conversation. Little did I know that the answering machine was recording everything, both sides of the dialogue. "Hello? Amanda, it's Anna." "Oh, hi. Are you busy?" "Not really. What's going on?" "I'm planning to invite some friends over for a little get-together. Would you like to join us?" The pause was heavy and hesitant. "I don't think I can." "Come on, dear. A party would do you good." "I really can't. I'm sorry." "Can't or shouldn't?" "More like I shouldn't. But deep down you want to. I can hear it in your voice." The silence hung between them like a delicate thread. "Darling, you can't hide this from me. You remember lying next to me on that bed, don't you?" A long pause stretched before Amanda finally gave in. "What time?" "Whenever you can make it. I need to be home before Tom gets back." Turning around, I saw Amanda standing in the doorway, a mixture of longing and loss on her face, as if she had just lost something important. Frozen in place, I watched the message being relayed, a silent witness to the tangled emotions hanging in the air. Now I was certain that our 35-year marriage was beyond repair. Throwing that vile woman out on the street, I called our children and told them what their mother had done. I will ruin this adulteress's life, and it will be sweet revenge. This concludes the story. If you like it, then put your powerful like and subscribe to the channel.